Welcome to Intersection Magazine podcast. Today I'm in industrial area at Circular Design Hub, and my guest is Jean Maki. She is Startup Uganda's chairperson, and we're here to talk about her work at Startup Uganda, as well as, of course, her role at Circular Design Hub and what they're doing, and of course discussions about the ecosystem. So we hope you enjoy this podcast, and thank you for listening. So thank you so much, Jean, for agreeing to be part of this podcast. We value your inputs. Let me give you guys a bit of a background. I found out about Jean's work after attending Uganda Innovation Week, as well as, of course, the Swarm Summit 2023. She was part of a panel that was talking about the ecosystem in general, and her insights were really, really great in terms of describing what we need to do. And then when I found out that she was part of the Circular Design Hub, I thought this would be an interesting individual to host on the podcast. So Jean, please tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Jean, and how did she get where she is right now?
That's my least favorite question. I am still processing my identity crisis, but who I am today, I think just like any founders struggling with imposter syndrome, about 33 years later, I'm one of the owners of the Circular Design Hub, and my interest was not so much in the tech innovation space. Okay. It was everything to do with humans and business, and I was passionate to figure out a way that I could convince techies and business owners to infuse human-centered design. Okay. So 7 years ago, alongside 4 other partners, we started the Design Hub, which is a warehouse. Mm-hmm. And the dream of making that a sexy place to work, first of all, but also to be a melting point of ideas, okay, of fellow dreamers, so it was my blank check to life. And every day I'm not sure what I'm doing, but I have a great team to think alongside me.
Okay, thank you very much. There's quite a number of hubs in Kampala, in Uganda. What unique role does Circular Design Hub play?
What unique role? I think we are one of the biggest hubs. Okay. And our interest 7 years ago was to find an underserved sector. Okay. And back then it was the creative sector. Okay. So we started off as the Design Hub Kampala. We were running a communications organization, and with that we needed a lot of pipeline for different people in the creative sector. So graphic designers, content creators, animators. It was really difficult to find good quality ones. Okay. So we thought we're just going to make this warehouse and intentionally attract people in the creative sector, yes, and to also show the business value of the creative sector and what's happening in that space. Okay. I think a lot of hubs then were very IT focused, yes. And we wanted an infusion that is grounded in the creative sector. So 7 years ago, the creative sector was our focus, and along the way we decided you can't have one sector as an island, so we need to find an intersection. I'm just going to steal your words today. An intersection of what that looks like. So, in businesses, sector agnostic, how does agriculture intersect with the creative space, with the IT space? And so we went on an intentional journey of finding companies across the spectrum, but also wanted to be really sustainable. So hub business could be very grant driven, and our focus was we want to make sure they can be sustainable first before we do programming. Okay. So our model was very sustainable approach there.
Excellent. I noticed you have different offerings in terms of for those who want to use the space. I noticed there's a space at about 30,000 Uganda shillings, a table that you can get. Then I think you can also get a membership for a month or for 10 days. Tell us a little bit more about those offerings.
So again, going back to the fact that we wanted to be sustainable, we needed to make price points that could attract people at different stages. Okay. For a business to be sustainable, you're going to have high scale clients first, but since our focus is to also grow the local ecosystem, is to make sure that you can have, entry level price units. So we have full-time companies, and they pay quite a bit more. And then we have, startup companies at different stages, idea phase, early growth, and those have, different packaging depending on what they need. I find it 7 years later, I'm still relearning to how to design those offerings, because I've realized with the innovation space and the startup space that's really young, has a lot of financial restrictions and limitations. There, a lot of startups would like more free services, but also the unit of the cost of operation, the cost of internet in this country is insane. So to have a package that could sufficiently meet an animation company's needs that constantly wants to be online. So BPO is the biggest thing, right? Companies are trying to service clients outside this country, so they need stable internet. The cost of just making that happen at 30,000 is almost impossible, and you don't want to change that price because that's what is affordable. So it's been a mixed bag of how do you make sure that offering still offers the service at a good quality level, like Silicon Valley. So still a difficult place to play.
I also noticed that there's for different packages there are additional services that you provide in terms of probably like business advisory services and things of that nature. I suppose for people that have membership, they get access to local events and meetups and access to experts. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So we have a bit of a very diverse community in terms of also just where the different companies are coming from, both international and local, and at different places of growth, like I said. So we have a company just expanding to their fourth country here, and that means they're going to be in a better place to support another startup that's in a similar field. So they will offer that mentorship services, ordinary in-house. But we also have other services like our legal department where we're seated today, to make sure that we can, subsidize or even offer pro bono services just for, for the startups.
I'm curious also because I read about when I came here about a few years ago. It was called Design Hub Kampala. Now it's called Circular Design Hub. Tell us a little bit more about the name change.
Also because they've got a new partner who's amazing. I'll tell you about Close the Gap. But I think as a business owner, we started off, like I said, in the creative sector, and along the way, it's the journey to discover yourself and what attracts you even more. And I think what's still missing in our ecosystem is segmentation and finding actual identity. So during our 7 years, everything seemed to keep coming back to circularity. So human-centered design has a lot to do with circular business and the circular economy. And so it seems like a natural inclination to that. But during COVID, we also met a partner in Mombasa that just affirmed what we wanted to do. So to Close the Gap, that has been in the circular economy business for a very long time in Belgium and have now extended to Mombasa. As we're looking for, a new niche, but also growth, it just seemed like a perfect fit. While their focus is really in e-waste management and refurbishing, it seemed like such a brilliant and a missed opportunity. But also we really like the universe and the world, and innovation doesn't end to kill that. And that's something that I think as individuals we're attached to as the business owners, and it fits within our core in human-centered design.
Help me understand the concept of a circular economy.
Truthfully, I am learning that on the go. And my personal understanding is just innovation happens, right? You make a product or service, it has an end life. A lot of that end life can just either affect the environment, and there's other ways that you can prolong that end life. So like computers, right? What happens once you get a new one? You ditch the old one. If there's an opportunity there, first to create a new business idea from that old one, give it a new shelf life in a new form, like calmer, then that's really brilliant. But also, I feel like it makes the pieces speak to each other, because suddenly the coffee farmer who doesn't need certain residue is pouring into the person making what are they called, fertilizers, and that's just brilliant. And I feel like it also focuses on use of like local material and figuring out new ways, so it's less wastage. And you know, just from my own background of a lot of things lacking, it just makes me feel like if businesses are speaking to each other, and I feel like the circular economy allows that to happen.
Excellent.
And
I also read about your partnership with African Leadership University.
Yes.
Exciting stuff. Tell us about that.
Again, a lot of the times the conversation we have in this country goes back to our education system is flawed and not preparing us to be in boardrooms and think a certain way. And it all goes back to the type of education. So I was really excited to meet a university that's doing it differently, and a university that was African, that's really intentional on changing the narrative of the quality of African education by empowering the students. So I think everyone has heard of Swanika. When I just listened to their model of learning, it fit perfectly into what the hub is trying to do. This is experiential learning. This is not me going into a classroom and having a lot of chalk and talk, which for us to change our continent, for us to change our community, it's going to start in the classroom somewhere, and how you do that. So the African Leadership Institute, that's based in Rwanda and Mauritius, was looking for hub partnerships to curate exchange learnings and actual hands-on, and to guide their students. And what better place for a student that is working in, I don't know, in a community problem, to actually work in a hub, to get first-hand support and experience from founders that are dreaming in something that student's going to do 5 years later. So fast forward, we did the hub learning with African Leadership Institute, and every semester they send a cohort of students to come at the hub, and not just to sit, but to figure out what are the community problems they'll be interested in, and with that they come up with a project, and with that comes an idea. And fast forward, we're building founders through an education system, and it's just beautiful. And if only we could replicate that in our own local institutions, because this is R&D just from first year. And meeting the students just amazed me, because when I was a student, there was not a facility that was available to force me to think about my continent and things around me and my community, and then come up with a solution around it. Fast forward, that person's going to be a better founder than I will be, because they're already, kind of being forced to think differently.
Okay. Now, also in the bit of research that I found, is not so much about you on the internet. I found out that you're the vice chairperson of Startup Uganda, and that's a pretty important organization. Tell us a bit about Startup Uganda. What are you guys doing? Who are you guys?
Startup Uganda. So it's a membership-based organization. And the focus was to bring ESOs, the entrepreneur support organizations, so the hubs, the accelerator programs, incubator, BDS, all targeting startups, right? To bring them together, because as the Circular Design Hub, I'm working on 5th Street in this corner with my people. There's the Innovation Village on the other side of the world with their people. There is Shona somewhere. And we did not really speak to each other. I think also by default, we are startups supporting startups, right? And so Startup Uganda came to just bring that together, the fragmentation within the ecosystem. If we all work together, then I'll know what I'm good at, and where my limitations are, I know where to send the person in my ecosystem to outbox, but to also build the capacity of these ESOs that are supporting the founders, because the quality of innovation, again, is going to depend on the quality of the ESO. If a Circular Design Hub my BDS abilities are shaky, I'm not going to have good pipeline of startups, right?
Quick question, BDS?
Business development support.
Nice.
I know, we just like fancy lingo and acronyms. Yes.
Thank you
Also
so much.
standardizing, I think I've seen on your podcast that you've talked to Kenneth, who's leading, policy and startup acts, is to also start the conversation of what do startups need in this country? What does that really mean? There's a confusion, MSMEs, SMEs, startups, and just those definitions.
Yeah.
And standardizing, accelerator programs. What does that really mean? What incubation services? So I could decide, am I an incubator? What am I doing? And as an association, it helps us have a collective voice to start building. I forgot my English, but just that place where we talk to each other and we can build these systems. For startups.
Okay. As a vice chairperson, what does that role involve? What are you tasked to do?
Oof. First to get members speaking.
Okay.
And to find partners who are interested in elevating the ecosystem.
Okay.
Again, we're trying to go away from development aid, right? And we want to find partners that can pour into the capacity of ecosystem builders here. And so, again, like you said, you've met us through the Innovation Week, which is one of our flagship events, right? Where we bring different partners on board to see what is happening in this country. And that's going to build pipeline for investment. That's going to build pipeline for policies. That's going to build pipeline for R&D and more interest. So that's my biggest role.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, in terms of your experience, almost 10 plus years in the system, what do you see that exists, or what do you see that we can build on in terms of as a Ugandan ecosystem? What do you think the greatest need is? What are we doing well, and what can we do better?
Oh boy, my mind goes a bit blank for a second. How do I not sound too negative and very hopeful at the same time? So the thing that plays in my head a lot is Silicon Valley. And as an ecosystem, we've referred to that a lot, which is good and bad at the same time, because we're benchmarking a context that's not truly ours. And I've seen that with my own business and trying to have Silicon Valley-like models and seeing how those don't translate for the context here.
Okay.
And what does that mean to find our own word for Silicon Valley and build that and it's kind of stuck in my head, but I think it's that. When you look at the big four, right? You're gonna look at Nigeria. There's something deeply rooted in the context there that has kind of like allowed them to shift things, and they might be benchmarking, but there's a lot of like in-house groundwork, which I think we're starting to make those conversations happen more. Platforms like the Innovation Week is also for the founders, the startup owners, to use this platform to say this doesn't work and this works. This is what we need to co-create. I know we have BPO now, the BPO Council. It's a good conversation because now government is leaning in. I think private sector has been a step ahead, right? And government is leaning in. I see Ministry of ICT with their incubator and their hub as well, trying to have those conversations. I think, like you asked me BDS, right? It's things like that. We have curated lingo that we have borrowed, and we need to make it a bit home. And I think there's more co-creation happening.
Okay.
I see a shift even in development partners, in being intentional in listening to ESOs. What is it that you want to do better? And like I said, we're still struggling with segmentation and specialization and expert knowledge in certain areas. I'm running a circular design hub. I'm having to learn and teach myself on circularity. and there's not a lot of infrastructure where I just like go plug and learn and grow to then be able to, so I think facilities like that, and
Okay. Thank you so much for those interesting insights. Maybe like in terms of winding up, like a last question. Although you said you're not so much on the internet, where can people find you?
Hey,
how do I phrase this question? Where can people find you? What are your socials?
I can be in the innovation space and still like an old school coffee. I like physical meetings.
Okay.
I still like to see people's facial expressions. Anyway, I need to remember my own Twitter handle, goodness. But Maki, find me at the Circular Design Hub, okay? I have a phone number and I try to respond. I could be really late, but that's a good place to find me first. I think it's just deliberate to be off the internet a bit and maybe a bit of my background there, but I'll be happy to share in another episode it's like. So
yes. And where is Circular Design Hub located?
It's located on the 5th Street Industrial area.
Excellent. Cool.
But and you can, I think online would give you our handles and social media platforms. But
incidentally, is Circular Design Hub hiring, or tell us a little bit about that?
I think we'll always be hiring. Yes. Talent. We need to have an episode about talent in the ecosystem. It's so limited. There's just few good quality people that can actually support what the ecosystem is trying to do, and we all like pick from the same pond. And so you find like my manager has worked in another hub. We need more people. We need young people interested in the innovation space, and we're happy to handhold and grow you through our hubs because there's such limited. And I don't want to go to the Netherlands to find a portfolio manager when we could find it here. So
that's true.
Talent.
Thank you so much, Jean Maki, for being part of this episode and for sharing all your useful insights. Guys, you heard where you could find her and how you can interact with the Circular Design Hub. You also heard about what they're doing and what makes them unique. You also heard about Startup Uganda. So if you're a hub working in that space, you need to network. You need an association that can help you, a group that can help you be more effective. And also in terms of events, there's Uganda Innovation Week. I think that takes place every year around November. So you guys, please be a part of this. Thank you very much, Jean.
Thank you.